Hey, welcome back, everybody. That was John and Emily Goodwin with That Was With Me, and they are now going. They were come by. We wanted to talk about the podcast awards tonight because really, we want to give credit for the people who voted and got involved and took care of things. So, again, I want to tell everybody thank you for that. We really want to get into yes, Jen, the Alien Abduction 101. I know it's Alien Abduction 202, actually, but I know I'm messing with you. No, 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 that's not going to happen. No. But anyway, no, that's not where you keep getting that from. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Where do you keep getting that from? Well, I mean, you could say that, but anyway, we'll talk about it after the show. How's that? Yeah, because this isn't a show rated. So anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. Um, a lot been going on lately, with the yaps and yeah, yap. Well, it's UAP, so it's not YAP, but still, it's yap. Um, yeah, who? Hey, hold on a second. Let me flip the main server back on because we switched over. Look at that. I don't know. I can't find the damn thing. Okay, it's okay. Sorry about that. That's just all weird over there. I don't know what's going on with that server. That was really strange. But anyway, that's no, because it was the wrong mouse in the wrong place, Billy Ray. But that's okay. We're gonna get going here in just a second, guys. I just want to make sure the main servers are on, so people can actually listen to the whole show. For what we're going to be talking about. Give me 1 second. Well, when I do my shows, I'm by myself. When we producing for other shows, it's easy because I don't have to be. Um, yeah, I'm not on air, so it doesn't matter. I can move around and do whatever I want to and make sure everything's going according to plan. And a lot of shows are produced by the host these days, which is nice. I mean, there's a lot of that going on, and with StreamYard, it makes it easy for a lot of the hosts to produce their own show, which is a nice feature, by the way. So anyway, welcome back, everyone. I hope y'all enjoyed the first hour with John and Emily and I and what we were talking about and the awards and stuff. So, a couple of things right off the bat. Area 51. Have y'all been to Area 51? Anyone listening tonight been to Area 51? Give me a call or pop into one of the chat rooms, or you can hit me up on my messenger, or you can hit me up on my on StreamYard. Yeah, so I'm one of the venues on StreamYard we're on. We're on a few venues on StreamYard. I think it's the 3 YouTube pages and 4 or 5 Facebook pages. So you can catch us on any of those and tell me what you think about the show or input. Thank you, Randy. That's nice of you. The skull's drunk. What can I say? It likes Crown Royal. Yes, Amelia Pisano sends me Crown down by the case. She sends me a case a week. Yeah, yeah. She's a moron. You believe anything, won't you? I'm sorry. Well, when you say dumb stuff like that, you deserve it. But Area 51 is a trippy place. So I've been to a couple of gates on Area 51 now for 3 or 4, and it's interesting. They know who you are as soon as you come up. I mean, there's a couple of different camera systems there. They got a binocular camera system there, and then they've got 3 or 4 other camera systems there, and they follow you around when you're walking around. But the reason they have multiple cameras is because, like, we showed it but I think there was 5 or 6 of us, so everybody's walking in different directions and stuff. The camera tracks you, but they track you, pop your image in, your image comes up. I'm on the internet, so as soon as my image goes in and it comes up, they know who the hell I am. So it's not a big deal. They know everything about you. They're not. No, I mean they as long as you don't try to break into the place, I don't think they have that big of a problem with it. Well, people, they got signs up there, no drones, no photography, and people are out there droning all over the place, photographing all over the place. I'm sure that they have limits to how far you can go. I know I've been there a couple of times, and I've talked to a few people, and basically, if you're stupid enough to get past the first gate guardhouse, they're going to catch you no matter what. Um, they bring you to Rachel, Nevada, and they do whatever. And I think it's $750 to get out of jail. I remember talking to the sheriff about it. We were having lunch at a little alien inn, and he happened to be in it. We talked for a good 2 or 3 hours. Actually, he's a nice guy, and we got into it pretty heavy. And so You're there. Now, what happens if you break the second gate? That's anybody's best guess. Second gate, you probably, they could let you go. They could put you in a deep dark hole, like I said earlier. They could hide you away. They could prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. I mean, this is an ultra top secret base. You lose your rights when you go into space. I'm not kidding you. You lose your rights. You no longer have your constitutional rights when you join the space. As far as they're concerned, they can charge you for espionage, and you're done. Mm. So it's that's just one of the things. What's that, Marcus? Alien abduction and human begin marrying an alien and staying on the moon. Uh, I, uh, I don't know if I want to live on the moon, man. I want maybe Mars. The moon seems a little chilly. Uh, no, Michael. The Mars is pretty cold too. I was just joking, but Mars has days when it gets above freezing, though. Well, you can see because there's melt spots on the planet, which suggests it gets above freezing, and it could be from a meteor strike or something like that as well. But no, the pressure's still too low. We'd have to wear suits there. But anyway, getting back to Area 51. So the place is interesting. There's quite a few gates to Area 51, by the way, and they're all in remote locations in different places. But what interests me is so you're cruising down this road. You cruise down this blacktop road, and then you take a left onto this gravel road or this shell road. And man, it's a big, wide road. I mean, this thing is wide. I mean, two tractor trailers could easily, probably three could fit on this damn thing side by side. It's huge. So you're cruising along, 50, 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. And all of a sudden you find a blacktop road. You're like, whoa, where'd this come from? Nice blacktop road, too. Well maintained, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, going into the base. Well, the roads are big. I imagine they haul some big stuff in and out of there. There ain't nobody in Rachel going to say anything. Rachel, people are pretty patriotic. Besides, they don't want to be alien food, so they're probably not going to do it. I was just kidding. Before anybody gives me stuff about alien food, it's Well, I mean, no, I mean they do all kind of stuff there. We don't know what they do. I mean, NSA, CIA, one of them. It's one of the alphabet organizations that control it. It's the military doesn't control it. I know, I know, but well, what do they do there? We know there's Janet flights in and out every day, all day long. They're flying in crews, pretty big crews, a lot of scientists. What is it? Is it like Eureka from the TV show? Is that what it really is? Is it a top secret place where we work on all kind of experimental stuff? Most people think the base was there because it's aliens. I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day because of some information we've gotten about the inside of the base, and you know what it could be because they say it's anywhere from 30 to 90 stories deep, not up but deep or more. And I wondered if it was just like an alien craft embedded there, and everything's just built on top of it. Yeah, because people talk about the hallways and different things about the place, and it sounds a little weird. It sounds like it's a different design than what we're used to. Am I giving out secrets? No. I don't, you mean does the government care what the hallways look like? No, I don't think they care if I talk about their hallways. Now, if I was there talking about spacecraft I'd seen or aliens I'd seen, that might be a little bit different. But even that, I don't think they care about. Yeah, I've never done anything to Bob Lazar. Whether you believe or disbelieve Bob Lazar, they've never done anything to him. Um, he doesn't look like he's had a horrible life. Maybe not a great one, but it doesn't look like he's had a horrible life. So, Area 51 is just an interesting place. And in case y'all didn't know, the Russians get to fly over it ever so often. Hey, David. Um, they get to fly over it from time to time. Yeah, well, we get to fly over their super secret areas too, and we get to fly over where they have missiles and stuff, just like they do with us. It was part of one of the treaties. I think it was a SALT II treaty. I'd have to go read to be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was a SALT II treaty. It was ow, sorry guys, ow. But yeah, I think it was a SALT II treaty. Well, what do you mean? Why don't aliens take our nuclear weapons away? Why would they? Well, let's look at it from an alien point of view and not from a human point of view. You're cruising onto the galaxy. You see this beautiful blue planet. You're like, look at this planet. It's badass. Look at all the things on, all the animals on it. and then you meet the human race. So now you just can't come take the planet because, Galactic Congress or whatever it is won't let you do it. They're kind of like, well, I don't know, if we should just go wiping out humans and stuff like that. So regardless, we're still here. Um, but if we wiped ourselves out, oh, well, that's too bad. Then they can come take the planet. I imagine they have the technology to reverse nuclear damage. They probably have a way to clean up radiation. Yes, or make it neutral. I know. So to them, why would they stop us? There's no benefit for the aliens to stop us from blowing ourselves up. We can talk about how peace, love, and light we want to be, but actions always speak louder than words. And extraterrestrials' actions do not speak to that they're, well, an agrarian society, a very peaceful society. That's not what their actions speak to. Their actions speak to that they're kind of aggressive, that they have hidden agendas, that they don't mind doing harm to humans on time to time for case to case. They take our citizens without their permission, and then they take their children and their grandchildren and their great grandchildren and their great great grandchildren and so on 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 until we get to today. You can't call an alien race who abducts you benign. Even if it is, in a way, you can't, because they took you against your will. And people say, "Oh, I got a contract with them." Well, I bet your grandkid did, and your great grandkid, and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on, because it doesn't go back that far. So how could they have a contract with them? Just telling you, people. I'm pretty sure that's not how this is going to work out. I don't know, Jennifer. I don't, I don't have all the answers, but I don't think the aliens are like that. I think the aliens are here to observe and interact in some ways. They get involved in some ways, but not in a lot of ways. So if you're part of the original family lines that were abducted way, 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 way back, way before Christ, way before we even came even near to having that kind of religious base, that's when they started doing the original abductions. And those family lines, ever since, are the ones they take. They don't take random people. They never have and they never will. They're abducting family lines because those family lines show the highest concentration of psychic abilities and telepathic abilities and telekinesis. And ever since then, they've been following those family lines. And those family lines, sometimes a gray abductee might marry a reptilian abductee, and that reptilian abductee's kid might marry a human abductee, and that human abductee's kid might marry a gray. But they're creating a whole new sense of species on our planet, and there does seem to be a pull away from the rest of the species. Just O negative is changing the species. I mean, not O negative, RH negative is changing the species. It wasn't here 50,000 years ago, but now it is, and now it's 15% of the population. In 50,000 years, I'm sorry, in 40,000 years, it's grown to 15% of the population. So in another 40,000 years, it'll be what? 35, 40, 45% of the population. This seems to be growing, and there is a difference between RH negative and RH positive people. They have different types of personalities. A lot of them look at the world differently. It's a strange phenomenon. We'll talk about that in a minute, Danny, but it is a strange phenomenon. But it's not that one's better or worse. It's different. They kind of look at things differently, and they have different abilities. But I don't know. You mean, does RH negative have more psychic abilities? I'll tell you this: it is something we are testing, but it's nothing I can release yet. Testing is inconclusive at the moment. Yeah, the testing is definitely. Hey, Joanne. Hey, Rachel. No, testing is definitely inconclusive at the moment. Well, we are testing to see if the RH negative people are more psychic than RH positive. But the problem with this is, since the majority of contactees are turning out to be RH negative, then of course there are going to be more psychic people, RH negative psychic people than RH positives, because that's where the psychics are amongst the abductees and contactees. I have never seen regular people that are psychic. If someone has a gift like that, you can take it to the bank that they've been abducted. You can definitely take it to the bank. You can definitely take it to the bank. It's just not something that normal everyday population has. And the RH negative thing is so different than the RH positive thing in the direction that the human race is going, that it's just kind of strange. I mean, come on. RH negative is a blood type that popped up on our planet 40,000 years ago. And it was a baby killer. it creates stillborn babies. We had to invent a shot to kid it. That's why people in America had to get blood tests to find out if they were Rh negative and O positive because they weren't compatible. They couldn't have babies, or if they did have babies, a lot of times they were stillborn. So along the line, there was a vaccine or a shot made. It's an anti-denigen D gene that they give you a shot and you can have a child. It doesn't conflict. The two blood types don't conflict. The Rh positive and Rh negative don't conflict then. But before that, Mother Nature created this, and still, it's killing babies. Okay, and it still gained 15%. Think of it now. Now that we have a shot for it, how much more population is it going to gain, and why? No one can explain where this blood type came from or why. And the universal donor comes from Rh negative, and the purest form of blood known to man comes from Rh negative. But man didn't create it, and we don't think Mother Nature created it because Mother Nature don't generally create things that kill us. I mean, in that aspect, on a being of their own creation that's on an evolved state, they don't. She doesn't usually, or it doesn't usually do that. Well, to me, Mother Nature will always be Mother Nature female, but some of y'all get offended when I say that. So, yes, I can. Who? Hold on, Donnie. What? Stop spamming. You know, as far as the blood types go, we started it for a wholly different reason than most people understand. We started it to find contactees and abductees. We needed something. We've already got a bunch of abduction criteria and stuff like that, but we needed something that we could queue up that would help us to look in a direction of what ET might be looking for. I mean, we were running job studies. We still are. We run, I think ICOS run like 16 different studies. And the reason why is we're looking for ways to find people who have been taken. People who have been taken that don't know they've been taken. So we've been working on that for a long time. And the blood type study is one of the things that came out of it. It was shocking to all of us when we found out that the majority of people in our database, which is 87,000, the majority of them are Rh negative. 65% of all of our abduction cases on file are Rh negative and growing. And out of that 65%, almost half are O negative, which is one of the more rare forms of blood. It's only 7% of the world's population, but it is the universal donor, and it is the purest form of blood known to man. It's a very strange thing if you ask me. There's something just doesn't sit right with it. And we had 3 different hematologists working with us on this study, and even they were like that. And out of that, we found out that South America and Central America are 98% O. 98% O. So that's another flipped out freaky thing. So it's a strange thing. Yeah, O positive is cool. I mean, see, that's the thing. People think when we talk about these studies that it means, oh, if you're positive, you can't be abducted. It's not true. Still, 35% of the people who are being abducted are positive. So don't say you can't be abducted. And you got to remember, there's far more positives than there are negatives. 85% of the world is Rh positive. 15% of the world is Rh negative. So that 35% equals the Rh negatives because it's the sheer volume. Yeah. Denise, no. Well, aliens probably look at us much differently. You got to remember they're alien after all. They come from a different world, a different looking world, probably different colored world, different types of atmosphere, different landscapes. Their eye colors are different. Their pigment or skin colors are different. A lot of their body parts are different. They think differently than we do, and they're older and wiser than we are. All the races visiting here are old. And that's probably why they're allowed to visit. They're less likely to screw up, even though I think they have in some ways already. But Rh positive. Um, no, see, and that's another thing. All Rh positive people share a 2% genome with the rhesus monkey. Rh negative does not. They have no common ancestor to the monkey. Yeah, how you like that? But yet we're the same species. Figure that one out. No, we're the same species. It's just there's a difference. There's a subtle difference between Rh and positive. And since Rh negative came on the scene much later, I have to think it's the upgrade, the update. Eventually, everybody will be that way. It just takes time for Mother Nature to catch up. And 10,000 years after that, God knows what else Mother Nature might decide to update. It's just part of life, I guess. Um, oh, you mean are the RH negative abilities stronger than the RH positive abilities? That is in this test, and we'll see how it comes out. I really don't know how it's going to come out. Well, the study ran 10 years before we did the first release on the radio about 10 years ago, and then it ran another 5 years, and we did a release on ancient aliens, and then it ran another couple of years, and we did another release on ancient aliens. And then some woman named Linda Moulton Howe tried to take credit for the blood type study that had been released 12 years before she ever talked about it. Yes, ufologists are a piece of work. That's all I can say. I mean, somebody asked me one time, "Are you in it for the money?" Well, what money? I'm not in it for the money. Maybe if you're maybe if you're a professional ufologist, you might make some money out of it. But it's not what I do for a living. I have two other careers. This is something I do for answers. I'm looking for the truth. I'm looking for the truth, just like I'd be looking for the truth on anything else. I'm not just for myself. I'm looking for the truth for everybody. I want to know the answers to a lot of these questions that we talk about. No, I really do. I want to know. It's part of what we are, part of what we do, and I want to know what the hell's going on. Well, because in the beginning, I thought all these people were crazy. I'm like, you're crazy people. Jesus, y'all crazy. Who let you out that freaking monkey house, man? Come on, get your ass back in there. But that's not what it was. I mean, I met people, important people with careers that high end careers, big families, big money, and they told me they were abducted by aliens. I'm like, really? They like see my eyes, really? I was like, have you been abducted by aliens? I found it strange, and I found it strange how many people would randomly just tell me about shit that happened in their lives, especially when it was pertaining to aliens. I was like, just randomly be walking on, work, doing something. Somebody say, "Oh, Joe, I had this weird experience. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Really? You've been abducted by aliens? I think you should go see a psychologist." And I was like that for the first 3 or 4 years. But the more these people I met, the more I realized these people weren't crazy. There was something going on in their lives, and they weren't liars, and they had a lot to lose if it was to get out publicly. Sorry, it was one of my dogs. That was weird. Um, and I just I couldn't understand why they were talking about it like that. But they weren't talking to other people about it, just talking with us about it. So that was interesting itself, and that's kind of what triggered the start of the organization. That and a crazy person named Ariel Saint Sinclair. Yes, Ariel Chaser was his nick. He kind of sent us all to. He said so much crazy stuff that we felt this was like 20, 30. I don't know, it was about 32 years ago. We felt that they needed an organization that could bring sanity to the field, and that's when ICAR was born. Yes, which, by the way, is being retired. The organization itself is being retired, and there's a new one coming, and for different reasons, and that's how it's going to work. But we will be looking for directors, not just in the U.S. but around the world. You need to have a little bit of experience and have some idea what you're talking about, but it is something we're going to be doing. And you'll be meeting some of the people soon that are going to be involved, and I'll be starting to get them together. Well, we were asked. Well, all I can say is we were asked if we could change an organization into something else. So that's what we're doing. And ICAR is set in its ways to say. Okay, it's designed for a certain thing. So now it's just going to become a research database, and then the new organization will take its place, and eventually the ICAR site will come down, and will just be a database for the members itself. Oh, retired chef, baby. I want to meet you, man. I'm from New Orleans. Like, any chef's a good friend of mine. Anyway, guys, it's but we're looking for people who want to get involved. The directors will be brought in. It's not going to be like ICAR. It won't be free. It will be a paid membership. Sorry, guys, but there's a lot of stuff, a lot of projects that are on the board, and projects cost. And it's not like MoveOn. We're not going to give you a book for it. We're actually going to do work for it. And anybody who knows this knows that already, because ICAR works for everything they do. But ICAR is differently. It's privately funded. It's a private organization for the secure and safe storage of alien abduction membership and database. That's what it is. Matter of fact, that database isn't even connected to the internet. The directors have to send me a disk. It's a encrypted disk, and then we upload the data in and out, and you get an encrypted disk back. Just how it works. There's a lot of people's names on there. We don't want to get made in general public. That's all. A lot of people. Marcus. Oh, we got two Marcuses. Hey, all right, that's strange. Where you from, Marcus? Dallas, Texas. How you doing, man? How's Dallas doing? Um, is there alien abductions in big cities? That's where the majority of alien abductions happen, in a big city. You know, it's funny, when I got in this field, I was thinking, oh, everybody says they happen in trailers and out in the woods and out here and out there and out there. And the more I researched, the more I realized that is BS. The majority of them happen in big cities. Oh yeah, man, big cities. Yeah, well, there's not a funny case, but there's a case. This tells you how to our country. And so there's a lady who was abducted in New York City. Well, there was an ambassador and his two Secret Service guys were getting out of their limousine when they looked up and they seen this woman floating out of a window into a spacecraft. I mean, they all had to take lie detectors and polygraphs, and these are Secret Service agents. Why would they say something like this? This would ruin their careers. One of them flipped out. I think one of them later on committed suicide. And strange thing, actually. But it was a case. It was a well witnessed case. But you know what? I always ask those same questions. A lot of people in New York. How come they were the only ones that saw it? We get these cases like the Phoenix Lights, where here's a decent sized craft hovering over Phoenix for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 hours, and about 1,400 people, maybe 14,000 people saw it. But there's 2 million people in Phoenix. Phoenix, where were the rest of y'all? We all sleeping. I don't want to wake you up. Were you sleeping? No, you weren't. You were watching TV, probably. Were you watching the news? Because it was all over the news that there was Phoenix Lights, but yet still, you didn't see them. Why? You went outside and looked, but you still didn't see them. How come? What would be the reason why you didn't see the Phoenix Lights even after you heard it on the news and walked outside and looked? Lynn Katai seen them. Yes, I like Lynn. We go way back. She's a good person. A lot of fun to talk to. She saw him. Her husband saw him. People around saw him. But then most people did not see the Phoenix Lights. Why is that? Mexico City, over 1 million people reported seeing a UFO in a city the size of 22 million. Well, where was the other 21 million people? What the hell? Come on, people. Where were y'all? Were y'all sleeping too? Were y'all watching TV? Were you having a siesta? Were you making a little dinner or something? Where the hell were you? Well, they went outside and looked. People went and got on their roofs and looked, because people from all around the country, all around the city, were talking about this big thing hovering over the city. But still, the rest of the city didn't see him. Why? Belgium. Bunch of people saw one, 36,000 people in a city of about 4 million. Where was the rest of the people? Why didn't they see it? So why do we have these big mass sightings, but they're not really mass sightings, because there's much larger populations there that are not seeing them? Anybody got any ideas why? I'm pretty sure I know why, but do y'all have any ideas why this could be? Maybe it's because only contactees and abductees can see UFOs. Yeah, see, when I say that, instantly half the UFO field's ass just clenched up. Oh no, Joe, that's not true. It is true. It's most certainly true. And I'll call somebody out in a heartbeat, because it's one of the things. It's a trigger memory. That is what a UFO is. It is a trigger memory. It is left for you to ask the question, what the bleep, 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 effing bleep, bleep, bleep just happened to me? That's what it's there for. Because remember, they don't have to let you see them. And even if you saw one, if they wanted to wipe the memory, they could. Yes. Or it's a government that just looks like alien, which there's a lot of that shit flying around right now. Ever since the invention of drones, anybody can fake a UFO and fake it convincingly. Between CGI, a drone, and high def, you can make something look like it just came down out of the sky, landed in your yard, abducted your family, and took off again. And it would all be fake. Yeah, it's a lot harder now to tell the difference between real video and fake video. That's why I always tell people, bring an analog camera with you. Maybe a Kodak 400 analog, something you can snap some pictures with, or an analog video camera of some kind, high def digital, analog, or just analog in general. That way you've got backups. And it's harder to fake analog than it is digital. It's the truth of it, people. And taking a Kodiak 400, it's hard. Grayscale is hard to screw with. So unless you're a pro, and it's going to take a lot of work, and most people are just not going to do it because it's so much easier to fake stuff on your phone or anything else these days. Oh yeah, man. One of the best ones I ever did, and this was before we even had real high def. A good friend of mine worked at the WIP facility. If you don't know what the WIP facility is, it is where we store all of our non-nuclear nuclear waste. It's a big, huge facility underground. So they were having a big meeting underground. I guess they were doing like showing all the people, and they had a bunch of them standing in this big underground area. And it's like 20, 25 people standing there. And it's a picture. And a friend of mine just sent it to me to show me how big the area was. So I cropped in a UFO behind them. And I put a flying saucer in behind them. His freaking photo went viral, man. Because it had the official WIP facility stamp on it. I almost got the poor girl fired by accident. But it did. It went viral. And people were swearing this was the real thing. And I was laughing my ass off. I was watching professional ufologists who swear they know more than anybody saying this thing was real. And then I felt bad about busting them. Well, everybody was saying, look, it's real, it's real, it's real, real. And I'm thinking, oh my God, no, it's not. I did that. I did that. I did that. And then so myself and the person who else, the other person was involved, came public. Then everybody was pissed. But hey, you shouldn't have just jumped on it so fast. You should have done some analysis work. I mean, there was no shadow, nothing, no reflection from the people onto the craft. I mean, you should have done some work. It was just a cropped in photo with not even any hard work. And it just went shoo. I mean, it went viral. It was like 14 million people seen it before 2 days was up. I was like, oh my God. Um, and that happens with stories sometimes, or pictures sometimes. It just goes viral. Who's my favorite alien? Bob is my favorite alien. Bob and I go way back, man. Bob the Gray and I go way back. Yeah, and Rudy the Reptilian. Yeah, Rudy the Reptilian. Bob the y'all think I'm kidding? No, I name all these damn aliens. Yeah, it makes it more personal. It does make it more personal. So, on a different note, if you were being taken, I'm sorry, sorry, let me get a drink here. Let me see if I can describe this. Get this in my head for a second. Oh, for the lady who just asked me about this. So here we go. Let's get a little closer to the mic. You're laying in your bed. You're sleeping. Well, you're not sleeping. You're kind of half there, half out. Eyes kind of open a little bit. You're just dazing off, dreaming, daydreaming about things, and you're laying there, and you start to get a weird sense in your stomach, and you're just ignoring it. You're like, oh, no big deal. And then you feel something touch your foot, and you open your eyes. And before you can scream, this thing has already drugged you through the wall and is taking you up in the light into your craft. And at that point, you're screaming, but nothing is coming out. I mean, you're screaming as hard as you can, and nothing is coming out. Now, as you're still screaming, you can't kick, you can't move, you're trying your hardest. You find yourself being floated down a hallway into a room. They bring you into this room, and it just lights up. There's no lights anywhere. The room itself is like amber. It's almost like the skin itself is light, and you can adjust the intensity of it, so that you're still sitting there, kind of hovering when this thing starts bubbling out of the floor, moving upwards towards you, and it's freaking you out, because you can barely see it at the corner of your eye. You can hear it more than you can see it, and then all of a sudden you feel it start to hit your back, and it starts to spread out along you. And then as it does, it starts to spread on the side. Even as it does that, it starts to grow up around you and it starts to cover your body. And as it's moving towards your face, you're trying to struggle, you're trying to panic, and you're trying to scream, but you cannot. And next thing you know, you feel this go over your face, over your nostrils, over your ears, covers your entire body now. And you're in a full-blown panic because you figure you're going to suffocate. And while this is going on, you see something coming out of the wall. It looks like some type of metal tubing, like kind of stuff with, remember those old fold-up cups, the rigid. Anyway, it starts to move out of the wall and starts to move towards your body. As you see this cylindrical thing coming out of the wall, about this big around, as it gets closer to you, it just kind of blooms out like a flower, and all of these instruments start to come out of it. Every instrument on there will pierce your body. Anywhere there's an orifice will pierce your body, and a few places that it's not. And it will go all the way from both ends all the way through till it meets in between. And you're still trying to scream and trying to struggle. And you can't because you're awake and you are aware of all of this, the pain, everything. You're aware of all of it. And then all of a sudden you're screaming, you got your eyes closed, you're screaming, and you wake up and you scream, and your spouse is next to you going, "What's up? Hey, baby, what happened? You had a bad dream?" And you are now flipped out of your mind. You are like, no, you're shaking, you're shivering, you're freaked out, you're pissed off, and you just don't even know what to say next. Okay. General update to one of those kind of abductions. There's other kinds besides that, but was that good for you? It was good for me. Some coffee? Hmm. Oh, you mean scarier ones? Oh, yeah, there's way scarier ones. Yeah, that was just a general abduction. Those are abductions that happen usually between the ages of 11 and 28 or 29, through puberty up into your young years. Those are the things that happen. Once you break about 30, 31, that stuff doesn't tend to happen anymore. They move on to a different kind of thing. And really and truly, around 35 or 36, maybe 40, if you're not in the program, meaning that if you're not helping, if you're not like a keeper or a communicator or something along those lines, then they usually release you from the program, meaning they're not going to abduct you anymore. But if you have children, they will come take your children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, and so on and so forth. But if you're not in the program after about age 35, they're going to quit abducting you because you're no longer useful to them. They've done everything they needed to do with you. So that's a good side to that. I mean, if you're useful. So, in other words, contactees and abductees, if you want this to stop, don't be useful. If you want to learn something and experience something that's not horrible, be useful. That's all I can tell you. There's a lot of stuff to learn. There's a lot of fantastic stuff that goes on. There is a lot of scary stuff that goes on. You mean the orifices? Yes. Most people, when they describe this particular experience, are screaming so loud in their brain that they black out. That's their words, not mine. Yeah, they're screaming so hard that they just black out. I don't even think the aliens are putting them out. They're just blacking out from the experience. Well, would you be okay if something just came out of a wall and started filling every hole in your body while you were being held in some kind of stasis bubble? Now I'm thinking I'm not going to be happy with that. I'm thinking I'm going to go find Martha, which half it ain't behind me right now, and shoot me some damn aliens. That's what I'm thinking. Well, no, if you're an abductee, see that's the thing what people don't like to talk about. Aliens aren't just going around randomly doing things to people and probing people. They've got agendas and they're running programs. That's why we started early on looking for abduction criteria, things that match, things that happen in all abductions. And we learned that they take you pre-birth, they take you after birth, they take you as young children, all the way up until they stop taking you or until you become useful or you die, whatever else comes along. But that's how they do things. Well, kids always most, not all kids, but most of the kids that we've interviewed over the years will say, "Oh yeah, my bug-eyed friends came by. Oh, my mom hates them." Or something like that, or my dad hates them, but they're my bug-eyed friends. They show me this, they show me that. That's before any of the bad stuff happens, and then the bad stuff happens and it goes back. But most people can reconcile the bad stuff with learning about the extraterrestrials, and it's not as bad as it used to be because a lot of the stuff they used to do they're no longer doing because they've gotten past that. But it's still pretty rough through puberty, and that's a lot of when a lot of the breeding experiments go on, or through 13 to 12 to 28 or something. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on there that isn't necessarily harmful, but it's not done the way a human would appreciate it being done. I'm not asking you if I can take an egg or plant it with sperm or stick it in your body or pull a baby out. None of that's being asked. It's just being done. So, well, here's another one for you. Well, hello there, Michelle, baby. Anyway, moving on. Um, that's Michelle DeRoche, the manager of the station. Yes. Anyway, moving on. So, case for you, real quick, because I'm getting ready to get off in a couple minutes. Okay, that came out entirely wrong, but still. Anyway. See, you threw me off completely now. It's real. No, I got to get this one out. Give me a second. I'll get my brain back straight. But um, Oh, maybe not. No, not and forgot totally. See, that's what happens when you get old. Things just fall out of your brain and go away, and things along those lines. Um, but there's so many cases and there's so many things that happen in these cases. Oh no, this is what it was. So here you go. You go through this last thing we just said, this whole scenario you just said. So all this abduction stuff happens to you. And then one day, you wake up, you're feeling a little sick, a little nauseated. You're like, what the hell's wrong with me? You go puke. This goes on for a couple of days. You're like, what the hell's going on? You take a pregnancy test. Oh, shit. Guess what it says? Now, some of you women haven't had sex in 2, 3 months, and you're like, what the hell? How can I be pregnant? And you're just kind of like, no, it's false. So then you go, wait a day, you take it again. Oh, shit. I'm pregnant. So then you go see your doctor. You have blood tests at the doctor. The doctor, comes back, the rabbit's dead. You're pregnant. And you're like, no way, I can't be pregnant. And some people will be on birth control, they'll be on this, and they're pregnant. They're like, there's no way I can be pregnant. So, so anyway, the missing baby syndrome is a scary damn thing. It's a freaky thing as well too. So you go get an ultrasound. There's a baby, healthy baby. Sometimes though these babies look weird. Most of the time they look like us, but sometimes they look weird, like the baby that came from Rachel and Rachel's eyes. That was another weird one. From time to time, a hybrid slips through. But so here you are. You're like, shit, I'm pregnant. What the hell am I going to do? Some of the women, like I said, haven't had sex in a while, so they're trying to figure out how they got pregnant, which is still freaking them out. Some of these other women are like, honey, I know we were on birth control. I don't know how I got pregnant, but here's the results. And 2 months later, 3 months, you're now 3 months pregnant, and you wake up one morning and you're not pregnant at all. And not only are you not pregnant, there's no signs of the pregnancy. All your hormones have gone back to being normal. The uterus shows no signs of any attachments. There's no, as far as you can tell, you were never pregnant. If it wouldn't be for the ultrasounds and the blood types test, you would never have known you were pregnant. You would have thought, and it freaks out even doctors. There's over 5,000 of these cases. And only thing we can think is when the aliens implant babies, sometimes they're too hybrid to live on Earth. Um, their abilities are too strong, or they look too different, so they can't stay here. And no, they're not hybriding them to be more better. They're hybriding us for whatever reasons. They're taking pieces of them and using it to hybrid us. No, the Greys are not here to use us to improve them. Please get that out of your head, people. That's an embarrassment. The Greys are so far beyond us, it's not even funny. Their ships are organic. They can grow. It grows. The ship can grow its own food that the Greys can eat. The way they travel through space is far more advanced than the other races that are visiting here. They're just a more advanced race. And well, in the early days, everybody thought they worked for the reptilians and the humans. Now we actually understand that that's not true. Their brain power alone is far superior to anybody except for maybe the light beings. So now we know that. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that last one because we're going to get out of here. I know Michelle's coming up right now, so y'all go check out Michelle DeRoche on the Outer Realm. Her and Amelia should be coming on. Actually, they're probably live as we are speaking. So I want to tell anybody again, thanks for hanging out again. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. We'll be back on regular schedule, regular 2-hour shows start next Wednesday. We just had the podcast awards tonight to talk about. And if you're one of those podcast awarders, please vote for us. On that note, good night and have a good weekend, people.